Would using a guardrail retirement plan allow you to retire earlier? All right, so I was working a guy yesterday, and I'm just looking at Finney out there. He's chasing frogs, what a knucklehead. And my man Mike, and Mike is crushing. And we're running his plan, and it came up initially that Monte Carlo was 90%. And just typical, Mike is like most clients I deal with. They drive older cars, they don't have any debt, they stayed in their house for 20 years, stayed the same job. It's just the same old story, man. It's a millionaire next door. And I just told him, I said, man, you're crushing. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes, well, I am using the retirement planning guardrails approach. And I said, oh, okay, because I don't use that. And maybe I need to incorporate it more. And I'm going to explain what the guardrails is here in just a second. So when I switched over from guardrails to what I typically use, which is retirement spending stages, his probability of success went from 90 to like 58 or something, I can't remember, but it went down significantly. Enough so I was like, I'm not sure you're quite ready to hang up the boots yet. And he was fine with that. But so the retirement spending stages is what I use. So you should not use a retirement spending with inflation adjusted each and every year with CPI. That's dumb. There's no evidence of this. People want to glom onto that as if it's because it's sacrosanct for some reason. I don't understand why. It's weird, man. You're going to increase your spending by 3% each year with inflation. Where's the evidence of that? There isn't any. So don't use it. So what I do instead is I say, once you retire, your spending will increase by inflation. And again, we're going to use CPI because I hate to do it, and you shouldn't use CPI in your own stuff. You should come up with your own inflation rate. But, if you read my book, you'll see what I'm talking about, your personal inflation rate. Long story short, and they can kind of be close enough, but long story short. So if we're going to increase inflation, we're spending $50,000 a year. We're going to increase it by basically 3% a year for simplicity, all right? We're going to do that until you hit 75. And then once you hit 75, it goes down by 10%. All right, so from 76 to 85, we're going to increase it by 3% a year. And then once you hit 85, it'll go down by another 10%. That'd be similar to Ty Bernicki's retirement spending reality, which is as people age, they just don't spend as much. And just ask your parents, man. The vast majority, if you ask your retiree parents or grandparents, they'll say, yeah, as I get older, I just don't even need my RMDs. Social Security is more than adequate. We know this. It's factual. All right, so that's the one I use. Again, from the day of retirement, your spending will go up with inflation each and every year until you're 75, and it'll drop by 10%, and then it'll go up each and every year until you're 85, and it'll drop by another 10%. Now, that's only spending on, I hate to say disposable spending, but spending on food, groceries, entertainment, things of that nature. Healthcare, we don't reduce spending. Healthcare goes up by 5.5% each and every year. Property tax, it goes up by whatever you say your tax rate is each and every year. Income tax goes up too. We're only talking about discretionary spending. We're only talking about discretionary spending. Your utility bill, you're eating out. I don't know, you're freaking going to Atlanta Braves games or something like that. You see what I'm saying? That's it. So there's a sizable expenditure that's still growing each and every year with inflation. Taxes, property tax, and healthcare for sure. All right, so that's retirement spending stages. So when we did with Mike, he came in at, I think it was 58%. And again, when we went to retirement spending guardrails, it was 90. That's what prompted me wanting to do this video. So let me explain what guardrails is. I think it's like 2008 or 9, maybe 2010, a guy named Jonathan Guyton, Guyton, had written an article in the Journal for Financial Planning called Retirement Guardrails. It's pretty interesting, pretty intriguing, and a lot of financial planners took to it. But it didn't take off the way I thought all the 4% rule and other things did. And the reason was because it's kind of technical. It's kind of complex. It's not actually that complex when you think about it, and I'll show you here in just a second. But it is kind of technical in terms of a couple of things moving, a couple of balls in there at the same time, a couple of moving parts. And relative to spending with inflation each and every year, that's easy to understand. Like, you just increase your spending with inflation. Why? Because that's what we're told to do. Why? What's the evidence? There isn't any. But it's simple, so it makes sense. That's dumb. So let me show you in Right Capital what the guardrails imply. So we got 5 spending strategies in Right Capital. Inflation adjusted is dumb. Don't use that. I don't like the retirement spending smile, as I talk about in my book, Relax and Retire. There is no evidence that retirement spending smile is applicable to the vast majority of people. There isn't any. Some evidence is applicable to some of you guys, for sure. It actually should be called a retirement spending fish hook, not smile. So retirement spending smile assumes that your spending goes down until you hit not a precipice, whatever the bottom is, and then it starts going up with healthcare costs. And so basically it's like a smile. Oops. There's no evidence of this. It's actually like a fish hook, if it even is applicable. It goes down, levels off, and it kind of goes up a little bit, but not to the extent of it equating the smile. So it's like a half a grin. So that's fine. I don't use it in the software. Retirement spending stage, and if you use it in the software, it's going to look like you can retire yesterday. I'm just telling you right now. So guardrails is what we're talking about here. So guardrail strategy allows spending to fluctuate with market performance. There are two components to the guardrail strategy. The first states that spending will increase with a general inflation rate unless we specify to turn off the inflation adjustment in poor market conditions. So again, no inflation adjustment will be made to your spending if previous return is 0 or negative. All right. So if we're spending 5% a year, we will not adjust that with inflation if our portfolio is down or flatline. It'll stay at 5% a year. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Capital preservation rule is another component. Before age 80, if withdrawal rate is 40% greater than the initial withdrawal rate, we'll reduce spending by 10%. Now, I put all these things, I can do whatever I want here because I control this. Prosperity rule. Before age 80, if withdrawal rate is 40% lower than initial withdrawal rate, we increase spending by 10%. All right, so what that means is I use a 5% initial withdrawal rate. You got $1 million in your portfolio. You take 5% a year out, that's $50,000. All right, let's say your portfolio grows to $1.5 million and you're only spending, my calculator, you're only spending $60,000. So I got to bust out my calculator here. And we're spending $60,000 on a portfolio that's worth $1.5 million because the markets have done us right. Now we're only spending a 4%. That's only 4% withdrawal rate. I'm not sure if that's 40%. It'd be 20% lower. So we want to be spending, let's say your portfolio went to $2 million. Then we're spending a 3% withdrawal rate. That'd be 40% lower than what your initial withdrawal rate was. Does that make sense? So if your portfolio grows so much and now you're spending $60,000 out of a portfolio that's worth $2 million, your withdrawal rate is only 3%, which means it's significantly lower than what we start off with as a 5% withdrawal rate, which means we're going to give yourself a pay raise. Conversely, if your withdrawal rate goes up more than it went up to 5 times 1.4. Hold on a second. 5 times 1.4 would be 7%. So if your withdrawal rate now is 7%, we're going to reduce your spending. So now if we're taking $70,000 out of a portfolio, $60,000 out of a portfolio that's now worth $800,000. Let's see what that is. That's 7.5%. All right, so if it's taking $60,000 out of our portfolio that's now worth $800,000, our withdrawal rate is 7.5%, which is more than 40% with our initial withdrawal rate at 5%. Hope that makes sense. So let's make sure I'm doing that right. 5 times 1.4. Yeah. So you have to withdraw your money. And again, it's simple. You say, how much money is my portfolio on 31st December? How much do I need to take out? If I need to take out more than, in this case, 7%, then I know I need to reduce my spending. If I need to take out less than 3%, I can increase my spending. So that's where the complexity is. It's actually not that complex, but I hope that makes sense. Anyway, and this is just what I'm using here. You can use whatever you want. All right, so now let me show you how this works. All right, we're going to bring up Susie's sample, and we're going to let Finney in. Coming in there, baby? All right, good boy. Come here. Oh, come here, bub. And Finney wants to say hello. You want to say hello? Come on, Finn. Come say hi to everybody. Finn again. Where'd Pablo go? Come on. Give me some antibodies. Come on. There we go. There he is. Give me those antibodies. Take that, COVID. Yes, we love the Finney. Where's your brother? Look at him. So cute. He just wants to play outside with his brother, and his brother wants to come inside. All right, so we're going to look at Susie's sample. Simplicity, Susie's got $1 million. Susie and old Bob got $1 million, and they're taking 5% a year out, $50,000 a year out. All right, so we go to retirement analysis here, and we're going to see under the retirement spending stages, the current plan, right here, retirement spending stages, right there, that's current plan, they're only 36% probability of success. If we use the guardrails, it goes to 85% probability of success, where they're leaving $126,000 to their kids upon their death, and that's in today's dollars. Isn't that interesting? So let's go look at cash flows and see the difference here. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the current plan first, and we're going to say current plan. My nose itches. Probably shouldn't do all that cocaine. You're doing cocaine, Josh. No, I do meth actually. That's my drug of choice, meth. I don't even know what to do with meth. You eat it, you smoke it, yeah, who knows? Swallow it. All right. So we got $1 million in our portfolio. We're taking 5% a year out. It's actually a little bit more than 5%. Whatever, but 52,000, so 5.2%. So you can see it's going up each and every year with inflation, each and every year until they hit right here 75. Then it goes down by 10%. Oh boy, now it wants to go back out. All right, so you see we start with 52, it goes up to 72, and then we drop by 10%. Goes from 64, goes up to 83 at 85, and then drops by 10%. Well, dude, baby, make up your mind. Come on. I'm not air conditioning. Oh boy. Okay. Now he wants to sit literally right. Watch this. Look at this knucklehead. Oh boy, that's what he loves. Just sit there with the door open. It's cool enough outside that I'm not air conditioning the outside, but I am probably letting some bugs in here. But you know, the dogs rule this place, so it's a dog's world. I just live in it. Oh boy, and here goes Pablo. Pablo, hi. All right, so that's what happens there. So they're, by the time that Bob dies or one of them dies, they're spending 67. They're 86,000 is what their final spending is together. 86,000 on a portfolio that's worth how much? 86,000 on a portfolio that's worth 180,000 bucks. So that's not good, man. That's bad. All right. So we don't like that. So that means essentially that, hey, you're spending too much. You're gonna have to cut back because you're well more than the initial 5% withdrawal rate. All right. So let's go back to summary, and now we can see actually how much they actually end up spending. So their total spending was 2 million schmackaroonies. 2 million schmackaroonies is their total spending. I'm not sure why I have no taxes on here, but whatever. I'm just using 5%. Actually, a little bit 5.2. All right, so now we go to the proposed plan and watch what happens here. The proposed plan goes 52, 55, 57, 60, 64, 67. Oh, look, it doesn't go up that much. Oh, then it drops right here at 73. So this must be a down year. So we see that we're going up, 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 a little bit up, 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 a little bit up. That's probably up. Up, and then it drops right there. Oh, then it drops again right here. Oh, then it drops again right there. Why does it drop right there? So here we got the first drop was 65,000, 2,034. So let's see what we got here. 65,000, 2,034. So we can see we're taking over 65,000 divided by 879. 65 divided by 879. Yeah, we're taking over 40%. So we're taking over 40% of our initial withdrawal rate. We're at 7.39% here, if that makes sense. All right, so then it drops again, because again, we're taking more than our 40% of our initial withdrawal rate. And then it drops, no, not drop. Oh, I guess I have it all in a Roth. That's why it's no taxes. Anyway, so you can see right here, so it drops right there because we're taking over 40% above our initial withdrawal rate. But then it goes up again, and then it goes down again, and then it goes down again, and then it goes up and goes down. And then it goes up, 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 up. Look at that. It keeps going up. Then big time down here. This is what, well, that's because Bob died. But anyway, you see what's happening here. The minute we go above the 7% withdrawal rate, we reduce our spending by 10%, if that makes sense. Or if you have a bad market, you don't increase your spending at all. You keep it level or even reduce it. That's a retirement guardrails. So, I mean, so let's say our total spending here, what was I say? 1.864. All right, so the difference between the 1.864 versus, I think it was 2.032. So literally, the difference between your ability to retire or not revolves around your spending basically 2.032, 1.864. Hold on a second. How much is that? I can get my calculator here. 2.032, 2032 minus 1864 is, if you spend 168,000 less over the course of basically a 30-year retirement, $168,000 less. That's the difference between your ability to retire or your ability not to retire. I mean, you see how just on this tiny threshold that is? What's this portfolio I got him in? I forgot. I think it's a Fidelity Balance account. Yeah, Fidelity Balance account is what I got him in. 6238. You see that though? That's the retirement spending guardrails. I like it. I'm actually a big fan. The question is, can you actually make sure you're disciplined enough to reduce your spending if the markets stay flat or go down? I can't answer that for you. Only you can. If you can, it'd be something to consider for sure. I mean, and the problem is, not the problem. The issue is, I guarantee you can. Just common sense, man. Common sense says, I'm not going to spend that much. I'm not going to take a trip to Italy when the markets are down in 57% from 2007 to 2009. Everybody knows that. Anyway, love your thoughts. Again, if you like these videos, they help you and want to buy me a cup of coffee to support the channel, right down there, buy me a coffee in the doobie-dook. I'll be going live tonight on Locals at 8 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to join my Locals channel for $5 a month, you can join in the fun. Lots of fun will be had by all. I think I'll dive a little bit more into the retirement planning, spending guardrails. Look at Guyton's article on that, and I think we'll get a good. Oh, there goes Pablo. Everyone wants to say hello to Pablo. Yep. And so put in the comments if you stayed long enough and you saw Pablo. Say hi, Pablo, if you stayed long enough to see this guy. All right, we'll see you guys.